it's your boy Agent Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew. We have our usual suspects of AD or Alpha Dean. We have Spigs 18 or Anthony. And Dean, what are we doing here today?
Well, tonight is going to be kind of fun. We're just going to have a little fun. MCG just released a Cypher System Creature Index. Great new product. Well, I won't say this. It is a product, something that we can play with. And we're just going to have some fun. Going to go over it. We just let everybody know it's still in beta. It's, still a work in progress. But they put it out so we can start giving feedback as a community. And we decided as a Cypher Unlimited crew, since, we do these things. This is what we decided to do. Let's talk about it. Let's play with it and see what we can come up with tonight.
Yeah, I think, first off, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the CU. But first and foremost, pretty much what Dean said, we actually spoke to the MCG team today, actually. Was it today or could have been yesterday? Losing track of time. So they actually want us to, go through the paces, and they want everyone in the community to start talking about this and seeing what the actual capabilities, and they want to know what they possibly might want to add. And I'm pretty sure they're going to watch this stream. So everybody in chat, let's voice our opinions, and because I have a good idea that our opinions are going to be heard. So yeah, we're going to mess around with the Cypher System Creature Index. It looks like a phenomenal resource, in order, and I can see it having many applications for either the improv GM, the crazy plotter and planner that, plans a year's worth of sessions in advance, or somebody, just wanting to plug in the middle of a written campaign, want to add a creature in for, that little extra spice of life. So yeah, we'll move it on with Al. Just read us the basic blurb so we can get a general understanding of what we're looking at.
Yeah, so like MTG normally does, they like to give us a rundown of what we're being presented. And yeah, so this is the Cypher System Creature Index. So let me actually take my glasses off so I can read a little better. Looking for just the right creature for your next encounter? There are so many choices, especially since everything in the Cypher system is compatible. This powerful tool makes it easy to find just the right creature. Just the right creature. To use it, simply select the criteria that fits your needs. We suggest 1. Choose the desired level. For best results, choose a range or 2. That's a typo. Choose a range of 2 or 3 levels. That's something we got to point out to them. There's a typo there. 2. Choose a vibe. Depending on the nature of your game, high fantasy results might not be a great fit for space opera campaign. You can choose more than one if, for example, your modern campaign has a horror edge to it. If you don't choose a vibe, they're all included. Maybe filter by environment, if that's important to your encounter. Again, you can choose one or several, and they're all included if you don't choose one. Same with motivation. And finally, you can restrict it to specific books or even decks for creatures that are in decks. And yeah, the description column gives you a short read on the creature's general look or nature to help you pick from the results. You can hit clear filters button to start over. Generally, this index includes all creatures and NPCs that have stat blocks and are not specifically connected to a particular setting. For example, the rating from tallest Monte Cook's City by the Spire is included because it is easily used in other settings. But I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but Torum Colvier?
Yeah,
a paladin from the same book isn't, because he's quite specific to that setting. And there's just a little disclaimer. This tool is a work in progress and we're still in the process of adding content. We've started with creatures from the general Cypher System products, the CSR, genre books like Godforsaken and the Stars of Fire, and setting books such as Predation and Path of the Planebreaker. Titles for Numenera and the Strange are coming soon. To see a list of the titles currently included in this index, click on the source filter. This index includes all the creatures detailed in the titles you see there. A lot of stuff here.
Yeah, it already got a boatload of stuff. It has Claim the Sky, Cypher System Core Book, Godforsaken, Gods of the Fall, Knife World Bestiary, Path of the Planebreaker, the Planear Bestiary, Predation, Tolus, Unmasked, Stars of Fire, Stay Alive, We All Mad Here, I think that's it.
And the Origin.
Oh wait, I should have probably pulled up that. Where is the index?
Origin is the last one.
Well, it's not showing up for me for some reason, but
Yeah, the Origin is the last one. So yeah, they're all there. I mean, all of those are there. And like you said, Numenera and Strange is coming, so that's going to be awesome. But you know, when you think about it, I'm just saying, when you think about this tool and the way it's set up, and the I guess you could say the thrust of it, you know, is it really is going to make, for guys like us who like to do improv work, it's really going to make it easy, because if we're running fantasy game or something, like you're running Keep on the Borderlands and you want to do a one-off random encounter, or you're trying to add something to that moment and you didn't have it planned, but hey, it's a GM intrusion, boom.
hold that thought, Dean. First, let's actually go through all the filters and like all the actual parts, because we definitely gonna go back to that, because after we go over the overall breakdown, we're gonna do a little improv experiment with the chat. We're gonna, and I think this is what MCG wants to see. We want the chat to give us a scenario or a scene, and we're gonna try to populate it on the spot, only using this resource. So we'll definitely get into the conversation about improv. But before we even go any further, let's go over all the filter categories and all the description categories, so we can get a general understanding of how the resource works.
All right.
You want to go over the filters?
Yeah, so we'll just start off. It starts off with level. So it looks like it goes from 1 to 13. 1 to 13 in levels for your creatures, which is pretty damn cool and awesome. So you can set a range, and it does suggest that you set a range. So you can say from 1 to 5, which is really cool. Then the vibe, being what it is, it's, the nature of the game, if it's a superhero game, fantasy game, or so on and so forth, what vibe are you trying to do? And it has listed here: fairy tale, fantasy, horror, modern, post-apocalyptic, science fiction, and superhero. So you have all of those major genres listed right there, to get you going. And then, of course, environments, abyss.
Can you put more than one genre?
Yes.
Can.
You can put more than one genre. So if your game has, like, say if you're doing a sci-fi horror, or you're doing modern fantasy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the environment. So if it's in a specific type of place, an abyss, afterworld, ancient ruins, anywhere.
There's a ton of things here. There's a ton of places.
Strange space and time. I mean, I'm not even going to read this entire list. It's an alphabetical order list, and they literally go from A to W. Yeah, so you're really
it's all the let's at least give them a number order. We don't want to zoom through this because we're actually trying to highlight what the software is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 35, 40. It's 45 different environments, guys. And can you pick more than one environment? So if you could double and triple up environments, probably the combinations is pretty endless.
And it's really cool because they have specific areas too. Like they have the Nightland from Gods of the Fall. They have Nod from Gods of the Fall. The Outer Planes from the planar books. Plane of Air, Plane of Water. Of course, they got Soul Rest. So they've got all the major areas that, pop up in different books and so on and so forth. And then, of course, they have, those odd things that you might want to throw in there. Like if you're running a strange game, they have areas of strange space-time. So, that would be like, someone actually, for me, I could see using that for something outside the network where you're literally looking at the dark matter, the dark energy network, on, where the planivores are. There's so many different things that you can do with this. And this is like really, really cool,
And it has the generic ones that most people will seek, like forest,
Yeah.
dungeon.
Cold environments, coastal regions, dark environments, desolate places, domesticated places, edges of society, fairy realms. I mean, the list is extensive. Like Anthony said, 45 different distinct environments to, trigger a thought process. I mean, I could even see using this,
Really,
to,
to trigger thought processes to pull creatures from those, because the whole purpose of the software is to generate the creatures out of the book, the existing creatures from the book. So it is actually really good if you're running a specific campaign in a specific setting and you're on the spot. You could pull the creatures. You could actually pull, like what you said, Beastlands, and then they'll pull it. But then what makes it even better is that when you want to fuse like a set, you running Gods of the Fall, but you want to add sci-fi elements, and you may not necessarily have the book. It's going to allow you to pull, and you're going to be able to at least to get a general idea of what are the creatures in that book.
right. And
It's
then
not,
here's another cool, what? I'm sorry, what you saying?
I'll say it's not so much like story building. It's more like pulling a creature generator.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then the next group is motivations, and there's I believe I counted 30 or 27 or so of those, and basically to give the whatever creature type you're pulling on, if you needed them to have some sort of motivating. So are they there for the accumulation of wealth? Do they want to control magic? Do they want to create pain or fear? Are they there just for destruction or domination? Do they hunger? Are they hungering? Are they hungering for flesh or hungering for life? We don't know. There's so many. They've got power, reproduction, seeks freedom, seeks glory, self-destruction, serves another, vanity, vengeance. I mean, the list is extensive, and it's really nice, when you look at it.
I mean, it's worth mentioning these are most of these are. I'm not sure if all of them are, but when I look at hungers for flesh and mischief and domination, most of these are the motivations in the actual stat block of the creature.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Then of course, like we said before, the sources, we read all the source books, so it is at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So there's 14 of the books listed here, 14 different sources that and they said more to come.
I think it's 14 currently, but they did say that they're going to add all the Numenera books.
The Strange.
I think once Numenera, like the 3 Numenera bestiaries and just the creatures in the boatload of Numenera books that they currently have, it might actually double the amount of creatures in.
Well, and then of course they're also talking about putting the decks in.
Yeah.
So that's even more. Each deck. What is each deck? 100 creatures in each deck. I mean, some of them are reproduced from the books, but man,
I don't understand that though, because I could be wrong, right? And chat, tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong a lot. But I don't think there is any original creatures in the decks. I think the decks are all reprints from books.
it could be.
I'm actually not sure. Now that you mention it,
I mean, I'm pretty positive there isn't any original creatures in the decks. I think they're all reprints. I mean, they're original in deck form, but they come from one of the books.
Huh? Makes sense. That would make sense.
Deck Spade said he's pretty sure that the decks are just the bestiaries on card.
Oh, yeah, but this
Anthony is wrong. That's hilarious.
I was very happy to see on the list there, the source list, I should say, that Gods of the Fall is listed. Because I'm actually about to start a solo play Gods of the Fall game. So having this, like, let's just pull it up for funsies. I'll be able to like just have a full list here of things like, oh, I need a strong baddie. I can go by level. Like this is awesome. Like I'm very excited to put this to use. Like, yeah.
Yeah, good God. So just straight off the bat, is there a filter you think we're missing? Chat, is there a filter in here that or your guys, is there a filter in here that you think should be in here that isn't?
Frequency. If
What
you
do
wanted to, if you wanted frequency, I mean, if you wanted to have something that was an ongoing thing, you could say, that this might happen in intervals or something like that. That could be useful depending on what kind of game you wanted to run. Um, but it doesn't have to be there because I mean, again, I'm just spitballing.
One other thing that would come to mind as far as a filter goes, but I don't know how useful it would be. Filter by size. Sometimes you want like an actual small, like actual small thing, or an actual big thing. That doesn't matter a ton in Cypher because you could just reflavor the size of something. But
what I was
That would be
thinking,
cool.
similar to what you were thinking, I was thinking that maybe you could have a filter for swarm, like some sort of separation. You know how you have like swarm creatures or something like that. Oh, somebody also wrote solo versus group. Yes, something similar to that too. Like swarm minion. I don't know how you would describe that, but you could have side like you know. Not to use D&D terms, but like gigantic. You know how they have the
Right.
dragon sizes, right? I don't know how you would name that filter, but a filter with something like that, where you could pull up. I want swarm creatures. I want
Or
minion.
I mean, what Al said, I think size will probably cover everything because if you did size, you could also get away with like you could say swarm or
swarm
horde.
would be a size, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Swarms, hordes, uh, gigantic, you know, if they wanted to call something epic level or mythic size, you know what I'm saying? I think that would be great.
Uh,
Oh,
um,
you should
oh,
say the disclaimer before we even go further. This does not substitute the books, y'all. This is a free software. So if you don't have the PDF, it's just gonna be the creature. It's not gonna give you the full stat block unless
yes,
I'm mistaken.
no, no.
But
Well,
So what?
here,
But
like I've already pulled some stuff up. So I had put science fiction and fantasy in, and I went level 1 to 5, and so I got the yen or Lantef,
yeah,
YLAANTIV, insectoid slave to its hive that fears neither death nor harm and seeks to bring its queen fresh blood. Level 2, vibe is science fiction fantasy. Environments are hot. It hungers for flesh. It's in the ninth world bestiary. So that
yeah,
way, it tells you exactly where to go to get it. So if
yeah.
you have bestiary, then you can
Uh,
pull it up.
yeah. It also is worth mentioning it's gonna give you if you don't own the PDF and you need to pull this creature in a spot, it'll give you the link to the MCG store to purchase the PDF if that's something you wish to do at the
So,
moment.
and with that being said, one other thing that I think should be added to once the filters run everything and you get a list, I think they should put the page number of, since they're telling us in the ninth word, tell us what page it's on. That way, you can just grab your book and go to that page. I think that would be a great addition.
Uh,
it'd be nice for people who have a physical book in front of them and doing this because if you're doing PDF, you could just Control F and find
Right.
it. Yeah.
if we do a wish list, the one thing I say that this I think really, really needs, and it might be a lot because then now you're starting to put it in images, but it should have a small image of each creature.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
that would be
that.
great.
So
And
that way you can actually see if the visual fits your concept of your story.
that's
Because some
actually a good point.
in the title would not look scary enough for you. You know what I
Right.
mean? You could always reflavor it yourself.
Um,
It'll just be helpful if it had an image.
I think Jack One Spade also said there were creature types and for a brute controller artillery leader. It isn't a one-to-one cipher, but might be helpful so you can quickly grab archers or guards. So that would be kind of cool too. I think that might be a cool way to filter it out if you wanted them to be humanoid, if you wanted them to be masterminds or leaders or something like that. I think that's a good idea.
Jack Bonham if they couldn't put the picture, they could put at least a short description of what it looks like, which
Well, they do. I mean, they don't give go into great detail, you know, but it's like weaponized meme, an evil, harmful idea transmitted through people who are then driven to madness and suicide.
The visual description, because I was asking for the image.
Yeah. But like I said, they give a small description, angular quadruped of dull metal that guards, a ward, stuff like that. But yeah, I can see, maybe more. Yes, weaponized meme is a sentient Twitter.
And what you call it? Chat was echoing that page number would be a good idea. Yeah, it definitely. If again, a lot of people I can see sitting in front of this with their books in hand, and it would be easy. Oh, it's on this page. Whoop, and you flip right to that page. Like, yeah, definitely would be a nice addition.
PDF too. I mean, now that might be interesting. I don't know if that's at all possible. If there would be any kind of way that this resource, if you have the PDFs, if you could link it to your PDFs, I don't know if that's at all possible. I'm just, spewing ideas, but that would be really cool. Even if it was like, maybe they have an upgraded model that we'd have to pay for because it's more, more programming involved. But that would be cool if I could link all my PDFs right to this.
That definitely does sound like some advanced functionality, but would be awesome actually.
I think for free software, I'll be happy with the page number.
Oh no, dude! I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm saying we're talking about what we wish for and what direction it can go. That's all I'm saying. If this is possible.
And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we could talk about we actually talked about the filters, but now we could talk about they're actually the same environment, motivation. The actual show entry bar is the same. The only difference they have is vibe.
Right. And I think the vibe queue is pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, actually, vibe is just setting, really.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that earlier. That why didn't they just call it genre?
Yeah. Maybe vibe sounds cooler.
It definitely sounds cooler. It's 100%. I can. You can see. I think I vibe pretty hard. Vibe definitely is cooler.
So, how practical you think this is, guys? Like, how do you see yourself using this?
Oh, I already saw. Oh, go ahead. You want to go ahead?
Go ahead. I'll go next.
So I already said it. So I'll even pull it up as I do it. Like I'm gonna play Gods of the Fall solo, right? Let's pull up Gods of the Fall. Boom. Where is it? Gods of the Fall. I need a creature that's like 1 to 4, something along those lines, right? There's not even a 1. Perfect. So I want something that's 3, 4. And there's how many entries there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I find an online roller that rolls me a D7, and boom, I got me a random creature that's level 3 to 4 that's specifically from Gods of the Fall. And solo play really is assisted by having sort of tables, and with this you can kind of make a table on the fly, literally. I don't have to look through the book now. I could just go to this website, put in my parameters, bing bang boom, I have a table of creatures to throw in my solo game.
Yeah, that actually, I never even thought about it like that, Al. That's actually really great. Chat Swamp Godex wrote, I'm still new to Cypher, so this will really expand my knowledge in a simple way. It helps them pick new books too. That's a great point too. If you own 1 or 2 Cypher books, it's hard for us because we literally own every book, multiple copies. But so it's hard for me to envision the person that has 1 or 2 books. But that person that has 1 or 2 books and you want to buy another book, that's a big decision. It could be overwhelming because, MCG got a ton of books. So if you look through, and if you're like me who love bestiaries, you look through this and you'll be like, yo, I want this kind of vibe because this is the story I'm telling or this is the campaign I'm running. What's the best Cypher System book currently out for me? They could use this as a gauge to pick what's their next purchase should be. That's actually a great point.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And before you go on to your point, Dean, Keta brought up a good point. I can see me using this during the writing of my next setting to get comparisons when designing my own creatures. It'll give me tough baselines to follow. And that's awesome too for pulling up for reference for whatever reason, whether it be for creating your own things or just making your own campaign with like a mismatch of other creatures from other books. Yeah, it's awesome for reference too. Yeah.
But
That
funny, I pitch up, you be like, I made this really cool creature. You go to this, and you be like, God damn it, this is some random Numenera book exactly the same. You gotta rip your shit up and start all over again with something else.
it's kind of cool because I mean you guys have seen the story engine and all of that, and I have these cards here come from like the same type of concept, the monster descriptor cards, and literally all they do is give you a description, give you a way to describe some strange new monster, and I can see like what Kid Hub was saying, using those cards in tandem with this because I need a level whatever, and this will give me, a cool way, now I can add a motivation to this creature. I can add, so yeah. And as far as using it, I could definitely see using it, I do a lot of demos at the store and it's like perfect because sometimes you want to just switch it up. Especially if I got somebody who came back for a demo and I'm running the same campaign again or the same, demo, this is a perfect way to switch it up a little bit, add another element or add a twist to it, you know.
You know what's funny? Both your guys mentioned when I asked for practicality, right? And I'm not saying neither one of you guys are wrong. Your guys immediately went to the on the spot pull up. And when I saw this, I kind of saw it different. I was like, this is more, I'm at home, I got time, I'm prepping, right? And I'm thinking of either the next session or the longer campaign, setup as I'm prepping, because it allows me to go, okay, I know the next session or the session after this might have a gothic horror feel. Let me start pulling creatures now for my prep instead of the immediately improv. I'm gonna pull a creature out. I think it has a lot more it's a lot more practical for campaign planning because you have the time to go, oh, it's in the origin, it's in the book, let me look at the book. Oh, and then you'd be like, you'll see another creature in the origin, let me just find this creature in this thing to see does it match what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? So it's just funny how like we viewed it differently immediately.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I look at it, you know, I guess I don't often look at the other stuff for prep, but yeah, that's a good point, Ant, that this would be an excellent idea, or excellent resource when you're prepping, for a game, because in that way you don't have to, run through the book. You can just, like you said, throw in a range of levels and the different environments as you're writing the adventure, how like especially when we do a one shot, I think that would be actually kind of cool because you're going to have this scene, and this scene, and these are going to be combat or whatever's going on. So now you just put in what that scene and how it's taking place, the environment, so on and so forth. Boom. So yeah, that's a very good point, Ant.
One other thing too that made me think about it when you were just talking, Dean, when you were saying scene, wouldn't it be cool if the filter, if you pick a creature already, like you set all your parameters on the filters, right? And then it gives you like a group of creatures. Like say you pick something really niche, right? And it only gives you 5 creatures. If there was another filter that'll give you a plot story of how to incorporate like 2 of those creatures together. Like why those 2 creatures might be, and that might be asking for too much, but that would be cool for improv.
Yeah, I think that's another whole nother program.
So what should we do? Say plot hook? Throw a plot hook in there?
Not necessarily a plot. I don't know how. Maybe I'm describing it wrong, but like like say we pick Rocky Mountain Flyer, right? Which is no, that's actually a creature. Let me just do. I'll grab some. I'll do fantasy horror. I'll do ancient ruins, and motivation. I'll do hunger, right? And then I'll do filters. All right, so I got I got a bunch of creatures here, but I got a water and a thrall. And then if I click on both of these, it will open a filter to say how you could connect those two creatures.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I put up the same exact filters as you, and nothing came up. I put in fantasy horror, ancient ruins, and what is it, hungers for life? None of them come up with anything for me. That's so weird.
See. Let me see if I get.
But I got 200. I mean, I got 25 entries.
Huh.
I got 3 entries, but I did have my level. I have my level set 1 to 13, but all I had was domination, and I had domination and hunger in mine. But I got Shoggoth, Elder Thing, and a Wendigo. So.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, like if you clicked on those 2 creatures, it would give you how to combine them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that might be too much, but since Dean opened up that gravy train, I'm on board too.
Well, you know me. Hey, you know what they always say. It's better to ask for what you want and be denied than to keep your mouth shut and be denied. So,
But I think at that point, with all those features, it becomes an improv tool rather than a creature index.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to say that it wouldn't be awesome, because I would love, especially with I've been solo playing more, something like that would be amazing for solo play. But yeah, that's a whole nother application or program, whatever you want to call this.
So it basically, I can only imagine. I'm still not 100% sure what the Cypher System deck feature is good. Oh, when you click it, it just tells you all the creatures that are in the deck. Pretty much.
Yep, it tells you what creatures you would find in the deck. Yeah.
It's actually a good resource if you want to, if you're undecided on whether you want to purchase the deck, because you could see what's in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome. That's a good point.
Yeah.
There's actually some cool stuff in the deck.
All right, chat. So this is the mission for y'all guys. We want to populate a scene. So give us any scene you want, and we'll see if it works. And we can populate a scene here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mess around with the tables while chat talks.
So chat, give us some ideas to populate a scene, and let's see if we can use this to populate the scene. All right. So somebody said a creepy forest.
Alright, so let me get rid of the filters I was playing with. Let's add in forest. There has to be a forest one. Forest, right? Let's add in the vibe would be horror for sure. Creepy forest.
Let them give us everything.
Oh, we're waiting for more stuff?
Yeah. So anybody else has any suggestions? What kind of scene, what kind of genre you want this to be in?
I was gonna say something. I lost it. Completely lost it.
All right, so somebody said ruins, a creepy forest and ruins. I think that's something about ruins in there too.
There should be. Oh, ancient ruins.
So it says space crystal, so we might have to add sci-fi in here.
Yeah, I got sci-fi, ancient ruins, forest, and there's a bunch of options.
Yeah. You could pick more than one.
Yeah, no, I have all 3 of those selected.
All right.
If I throw horror in there, will I still have selections? Yeah, it still gives me selections. Nice.
What level do you think these creatures should be? You can give us like 2 levels to work from. Jack, we want the actual software to give us the creatures. Because now you just building out the scene. We actually want to use the software to build out the creature.
So 3.5, yeah, 3.5 is a good one. Nice average range.
3 to 5, okay.
So I got horror, science fiction, ancient ruins, forest, and level range 3 to 5. Think any book would be fine for this?
Yep, and motivation. what kind? That will be the general idea of the story. So, what kind of motivation we want? Somebody wrote some kind of body horror.
So that would be like, what is
Hun-
it?
Hungers for flesh.
Hunger's for Flesh is a good one.
Or pick create fear or pain. That might be another one that will work for that.
Oh, when I put Create Fear or Pain, it empties my list. So let's not use that one.
Right.
You said Hungers for Flesh? Yeah, there's still options for Hungers for Flesh.
Hunger.
Let's try Hunger.
Okay.
Hunger adds more. Cool.
Yeah.
I think we have pretty good, like, this is pretty niche little, like, selection we got here. We still got options.
All right, so they said, like, we got Creepy Forest, In the Ruins, and sci-fi, right?
Body horror.
And body horror. And we got level 3 to 5, right?
I'm reading the description of the little monsters here to, like, kind of spark some imagination. But there's some really interesting ones listed here.
So you ancient ruins and forest, right?
Yeah, so I'll go step by step in what we have selected here.
Yeah, 'cause I'm putting it
So
into.
I got level 3 to 5, vibe, horror, science fiction, environment, ancient ruins and forest, motivation, hunger, hungers for flesh, and no source selected, no deck selected. But yeah, we got some good options here.
Donald jumped in with a bunch of stuff. Let's see if we can at least throw one of his things in. He wrote location a guild hall, hook guide, request aid. All right, so we can look at that in motivation. We'll add the request aid. Woodland Grove, Catalyst Assassination. Dino, you trying to talk because they're saying you're muted.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
What I was saying is, Al, how many entries did you get on yours? Because I put in all the same stuff and I got 6 entries. How many did you get?
6.
Oh, you got 6 as well? Nice. Let's see if we got the same ones.
6 for 3 to 5?
Yep.
You did science fiction, horror, fantasy, right?
Yep.
Ancient ruins, forest.
You have fantasy in there too?
I did horror, post-apocalyptic, and science fiction.
Dean is just adding his own shit.
Well, either way.
So I'm taking out fantasy.
Okay.
So we all have the same post-apocalyptic I'm adding, right?
Yeah.
And now we got ancient ruins and forests, right?
Yep.
That's it? In that category?
Yep. And then I put all 3 hungers. Hunger for flesh, and hunger for life.
Why hunger for life?
Body horror. Maybe they need the flesh to continue to live, whatever.
No, I mean, I'm trying to go by what the chat put in, not what a personal. We were going by what we took from chat. I'm just asking why.
Either way, hunger and hungers for flesh.
Okay, I'll take
hunger and hungers for flesh. And no source was anything, right?
Yeah, it's no source.
Why can't I get anything in here?
I don't know, but either way, just look at my stream or look at the stream or something. I can also post a screenshot for you.
All right, so what are the choices?
So we got, I don't know how to pronounce the word, Larrick Scorpion. It's a giant, another word I don't know how to pronounce. Amblypygid, I'm assuming that's like the scientific word for scorpion, with 6 legs and a whip-like 4 legs, used for sensing as well as creating an eerie fluting sound. We also have the Tachiron, wolf-sized reptile with huge black eyes that reflect light. The Slicer Beetle, giant beetle that progresses through 3 stages of life, though the 3rd has never been observed by any living human. The Jessetum, carnivorous creature with a flower-like head it uses to lure in victims. The flying elchin, a fearless scavenger that likes fresh meat but doesn't want to do the work. And then lastly, the balikna, a large lizard-like creature with the ability to camouflage itself almost to the point of invisibility. And that's all the entries. They're all from the Ninth World Bestiary, actually.
You know what's weird? I have way more entries than that.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing about what order you put the things in. This might be something.
I literally got the same thing Al got.
All right, so maybe I just have something wrong. But okay, let's work off what you got then. So what do you think is the most interesting to fit what we had? It was a creepy forest with some sort of ruins in the forest. And we were going for sci-fi horror, right?
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think what would be kind of cool is the Takaran, wolf-sized reptile, huge black eyes that reflect light. I think of a nighttime encounter, or your or the what's the name? The Balakna.
Why do we have both?
I think both of them are cool as hell because both of them are lizards. We're talking about a sci-fi post-apocalyptic, so things do get mutated. The fact that this creature can camouflage itself, just I think it would be quite interesting to say the least.
So, the one that jumps out to me the most is Slicer Beetle, because there's two elements to it that really lean towards what we're going for here. There's the body horror. It's a slicer beetle, right? It doesn't say anything in the description about this, but I assume in the larger, in the actual stat block, it mentions how it slices or cuts. That's very, body horror-ish, right? And the second part is that very thick air of mystery in that the third stage of life has never been observed by a living person. So, like, the premise here could be like you're being sent out into this creepy woods to observe that third stage of life. And a lot of horror movies play on that unseen scary, you know what I mean? Like that off screen, like, holy shit, what is it? Like, you can even play with that, like, yeah.
All right, well, our scene would be the characters are going through a spooky forest or some sort of like a forest that leads into this ruin, and they find a body hanging, like either crucified on a stone cross, and inside the body is a swarm of these slicer beetles.
That could work.
That actually sets up a scene perfect.
I'm pulling up I'm gonna pull up my bestiary right now so I can pull up the actual creature and take a look.
But what the cool thing is, actually, yeah. So the whole point of this would be to pull up the actual book, right? Yeah. So do that, yeah. But the cool thing about the scene you set up, right? It doesn't set up straight combat either, right? The party comes across this body in the woods or whatever, and depending on how they interact with it, depending on how they go about the scene, the slicer beetles might come into play, right? They might know they're in the woods looking for them or something, right? Because they're trying to find out that third stage of life. But that body there, they don't know that it's in there.
You see, when I says, because under the motivation on the slicer beetle, it says hunger for flesh and reproduction protects. So in my mind, those little baby slicer beetles isn't the big slicer beetle they're supposed to find. The big slicer beetle laid his eggs in his dead body, and the PCs, the characters arrive the minute the eggs hatch. So they're ripping through this body. So it's a lead into, hey, if you go into these ruins, you're gonna fight this big gigantic slicer beetle. If that makes any sense.
That's good.
Here's an interesting thing, so when looking at the actual entry in the book, it says slicer beetles shed their tough carapace 3 times during their lives. In their first 2 stages, these creatures look like well-armored 6-eyed beetles with front piercers designed to slice through flesh, bone, and most types of armor. They grow to nearly 12 feet high in their second stage. So, like what you set up, the scene you set up, Anthony, where they come out and it's like a swarm. I could see doing something like having them start as they come out, they're literally consuming the flesh, and as they consume the flesh, you can see the flesh, for the body horror aspects, describing it like it's literally, like oozing around them. They don't eat it, but they literally kind of absorb it, and as they absorb it, they get a little bit bigger and a little bit more well armored. I mean, that just fun stuff.
Yeah, I view it as an intro scene, right? This is the scene to let the characters know, hey, this is freaking horror, right? So this is the fight or flight scene. Like the characters could choose to be like, oh, I'm getting the hell out of here. This is freaky shit. I don't want anything to do with it, right? Or they could be like, that was my friend Reginald, or that was the person we came here looking for. Now let's find out. So when they go into the ruins now, right? They'll find, now they want to find the source, right? That was just the shock value scene to let you know that you're playing a horror fantasy game or a horror sci-fi game. And then once they go in, then we're looking for the big, like what you said, the level 5 beetle or whatever it is.
And what's kind of scary too is that we don't really know what the final stage is.
Yeah.
But even the book says, it's believed that in their final stage, the creatures morph one more time into a savage burrow beast that spends the remainder of their short lives underground, protecting giant nests made from the sloughed off intestines of other internal organs. They call wizen.
So
those steady creatures. So that's just like really cool. So we don't know what it looks like, so you can just describe whatever.
I mean, you don't even have to do that too. I mean, now we have our intro scene and we have our first battle scene, right? Intro scene is the swarm of these tiny slicer beasts, like slicer beetles. The midpoint scene is fighting the slicer beetle, but the slicer beetle isn't the big bad in this. The slicer beetle isn't the big bad in this ancient ruin, right? So now let's change the parameters to levels 5 through 8 or 5 through 9 and keep the same category.
Yeah, we got a couple higher level options here.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So anything jumps out at you guys?
How about the thundering behemoth?
I like that.
A towering alien predator with color-changing frills. Is right from the stars of fire. So I can see like this being ancient ruins, and the reason why the slicer beaters are there, they're attracted by the thundering behemoth. It makes a sound.
Because I couldn't pull it up. It didn't come on my description. Can you read the description for me, Dean?
Towering alien predator with color-changing frills. So could you imagine like it lives underground? Maybe it attracts the slicer beetles because it eats them so it can continue to grow. Throws something off. It's just so much stuff to choose from though.
Another cool one would be the Furno Walker. I'll read this. Level 6. 6-limbed beast that heats rocks inside its core to create a furnace in its stomach. And the motivation it has is hungers for flesh. And what I envision with that guy is he's deep in this ancient ruin, just doing his thing, heating rocks, whatever, maybe killing bigger things. And the smaller slicer beetles are like, what is it, like crows or whatever? They like come and eat the remnants. And the heat from the Furno Walker kind of maintains the atmosphere in the ancient ruins, so it keeps it hospitable for them. So they're kind of like, yeah.
He creates a viable ecosystem.
Yeah,
that works.
That's actually really cool. And that's the big bad fight. Like that's the final fight. So look, you got a whole 4-hour adventure with just using this software.
Yeah, that's a one shot. That's a one shot right there.
Yeah.
Quick one shot, yep.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what you see. It would be a lot easier if they did have images. I know that's asking for a lot. You don't have to give me the stat block, but if it gave me an image.
That would be
image would
nice.
probably be cool. I think an image would be cool to have just because, unless again you just want to take the description and create your own image, of what it is. I mean, it's giving you a level and everything else, but again, it also gives you what resources from. So that's pretty cool.
Guys, all right, so now let's round it out because we did a 3 to 5, right, which was the slicer beetles. I'm gonna write this down. So, right, was the slicer beetles, right?
Correct.
Slicer beetle swarm, whipping through human carcass, right?
Yep.
That's all, right. Then we had
Inferno Walker.
No, it was the what you call it, like the adolescent beetle, the adolescent slicer, adult slicer beetle, yeah.
Adult slicer beetle. Conflict. I'll just put so it's something real quick. Then the final, when they finally get to the bottom of the ruins, they find out that it's this actual. What's the name of the creature again?
Ferno Walker.
A what?
Ferno Walker. Ferno Walker.
Ferno Walker. That's actually powering the entire ecosystem just because it generates heat in the stone. So not only does it attract the slicer beetles, it attracts all sort of insects. So we can make that, like the whole travel to the forest. You see like insects migrating to this place, right? Like while they traveling through the spooky forest.
So yeah, they could literally, and what we could be interesting is, like you said, you could use some of the lesser ones that they had because they did have some level 3 creatures as preliminary.
So now let's do a forest random encounter to fully flesh out this 4-hour session. So go to levels 1 to 2 and try to pick something that's insecty.
1 to 3. You go 1 to 3 for the forest, and I'm gonna just change it to forest.
Yeah.
Take ancient ruins off, and I'm going to.
You don't have to put hunger. You put hunger.
No, I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep the vibe. I'm going to keep the vibe the same.
Yeah, we need a bug.
I looked at the one called the Slurge, large slug-like creature that slides across the ground, leaving trails of evaporating slime.
Yeah, that's better. Oh, and you know what? That's even better because the whole reason the characters realize it is because all the other bugs are sliding through the slime of these slugs that are leading everyone.
If they're not flyers.
So we could start the session with the characters lost in the woods, and the slime of the slugs is what leads them to this ancient ruin.
Yeah.
That's actually really good. So now we have a level 1 to 3 encounter, and this doesn't mean it's a fight. The slugs could just be what leads them to the ruins.
Right.
They could also be a physical obstacle. Like the floor might be slippery because of them. You know what I mean. It doesn't have to be they're actually fighting these slugs.
Well, not only that, you could actually say, because it says the slime evaporates. What if the slime, you could actually use that I could see that being a gem intrusion. So as it evaporates, it like gunks up your filters or your face mask on your helmet. So this could be a cool intrusion to have an effect later down the line.
Actually, yes.
So we got encounter with slugs. We have the slicer beast swarm whipping through a human carcass. Then you have the conflict with the slicer beetle that leads you to the bowels of the ruins, where you find out all these bugs are meeting here because of this ruin.
Walker.
Yeah.
And I will. You know what? Let's perfect. We'll frame it this way: the players aren't lost. The players are a recovery group. You know, you could take points from first responders, and a ship crashed in this forest.
That's not what we picked in our.
No, I'm saying it still could be sci-fi. First responders is just first responders.
No, I understand. That's how you would fit it in, but I'm just trying to make a generic adventure that could fit into
No,
everything.
I'm just saying. I'm saying that as a generic, if you wanted to tie it in with something else, I'm saying that like look at it through the lens of you're trying to find this down spacecraft, and there might be 5 or 10 people, and then like you were saying, I was thinking that when you got into the forest and then you found the bodies, they're hanging, like they've been hung upside down, and they're like stuck to to the roof of the ruins or something, and the slicer beetles are just pouring out their bodies.
This could be any genre. It doesn't have to be. I can see this modern fantasy, sci-fi, straight up horror.
Yeah.
I don't want to pigeonhole it in a specific.
Right. No, I wasn't doing it. I'm saying how if I were to do it, I mean, I could see using this as a first responders disaster. I mean, this could be interesting, if you wanted to add a level of sci-fi to your first responders game.
Oh, Brandon wrote, I like a creature that falls over and dies if you roll 2 ones in a row. The reason Brandon said that is because he had the epic fail in this week's Keeping the Borderlines game. And I told Brandon I was going to mention this. Yo, he was getting stacked because he was paralyzed, right? Because this artifact had him paralyzed. And he couldn't move anything. So he was taking 6 points or 4 points of damage every turn. And he was getting stabbed, right? So then he was like, yo, I was like, okay, roll to see if you can get out of the artifact spell. He rolled a 1. And then he said, yo, I'm going to spend XP. What's the worst thing can happen? He rolled it. It was hilarious.
Oh, man.
Jason, who, by the way, gave us the idea to do this scenario. Thank you, Jason. We should have said that from the very beginning. And if you don't know, if you haven't had a chance, go to Shadowmane's website. Phenomenal resource to pick up. He does interviews. He gives advice. It's a great spot, and we'll definitely share the link in this video. But I think the big value for this for me is to find creatures from other genres. If I'm running fantasy and I want to find a cyborg that fits my story, I could just reflavor it as a golem. Great point.
And Jag One Spade, he said, I feel double one comment so much. Rerolls are cursed at my table. So many times it feels like it's intentional. The digital table rerolls gets the same number, and we end up letting you get a reroll or a +2 when you reroll as an option. Trust me, Anthony knows I absolutely abhor the digital roller on Roll20. I hate it with a passion. It is the worst. I can't stand it.
Better on Roll20 and on Fantasy Grounds than I do in person, so I'm like the opposite.
Well, what I've noticed about it, the algorithm is kind of weird because to me, the GM's dice work way better than the players. Whoever's in the GM role, your dice rolls are always better, and I think that's kind of screwy too. I don't like that either.
Either way, that's an aside.
That is an aside.
A hella aside. That's a funny ass story though, just getting double ones.
It was hilarious.
But
that's why you never say those words. You just re-roll.
What you call?
When he said, "What's the worst thing that happened?"
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
he connected to the SRD.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Well, it's out there now. Somebody wants to connect it to the SRD, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, this is twofold, right? Like from a company perspective, it's a cool resource to give out for free, right? But the project manager in me was like, it's also there to sort of generate revenue. So if you make it too easy that people don't have to access books, you know what I mean? It's a free resource. So I can understand if they never did that, right? It'll be hella cool if they did, but if they didn't, I could understand it as well.
Well, something else that this does too, as far as I'm concerned, as a useful tool, is it gives you a name, it gives you a basic idea what the creature is, it gives you an environment for the creature. Even if you didn't have the books, if you understand Cypher, it's a quick, easy inspiration for whatever. You know, it may not be what's in the book, but it'll still work.
Yeah, they might actually link it to the SRD. How many creatures are currently in the SRD now?
I have no idea.
I know everything from all the books that have been put in. So Claim the Sky, uh, God Forsaken, the CSR.
They did mention that they're not putting specific setting creatures in this document.
Right.
So
Stars of Fire, but all the generic stuff, all the stuff, you know, you'll find elves, you're gonna find dwarves, you know, all of that.
yeah, so overall, guys, what's your take on this? How useful you think it is? Like, first of all, I think it's hella fun just to mess around with. Right?
Oh yeah,
We just spent 30 minutes coming up with a one shot just with this without even looking at the books. You know,
this is
basically,
true.
yeah, coming up with an idea.
I would definitely use it. Like I said, because I run a lot of demos at my local game store. I definitely use it. I can see this being a lot of fun because there are a lot of times I'll walk in with nothing planned, you know, like on a day that I'm not running demos and somebody will ask me about, hey, can you show me Cypher? So, you know, I can use this for a quick 2 hour intro, you know.
I agree with Jack. One spade said in chat. He said, and Jack, this is probably. I think I think this is your opinion is pretty much on point with mine. He said it looks cool for prep. I thought it was an improv tool, but without the stats coming up, it's a far better prep tool than a table tool. I I do think it's a better prep tool than a table tool, but with improv, you can improv with anything as a tool because we just basically showed you we improved a whole session with just.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree it's great for prep, but I don't think it's any better or any worse for anything else. I could definitely use it at the table.
I think the two biggest advantages, like with what Jack said, for prep and for advertisement for and promotion for people that don't have all the books and they want to look what they want to see what would be interested for them to purchase. So I think those are the two immediate benefits. If you don't have books and you're curious what to buy, you can mess with this program. I'm pretty sure you'll figure out what's the next book you want to get.
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes to those resources, I think it's a brilliant tool. What about you, Al? What's your take?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I definitely see myself using this as a solo play tool. Even if what is it, Jack Spade said and what Anthony's saying, like you don't have the full stat block. But with solo play, a lot of it is randomization, right? So with this list, I can pull up like the vibe or whatever of a creature, like a level, general description, and then I can use another randomizer to give it a special ability or whatever, and bing bang boom, I have a unique version of that monster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily need the stat blocks from the book to have it be useful for solo play, as is.
Right.
So I could definitely see myself using it for that.
And see, I'm with you. I can see it both ways. I don't need anything more than this to use it as a resource at the table. You know, when I need something quick.
It's also worth mentioning this is still the beta, guys. Like my gut feeling is it's going to be a lot different. You know,
It's 6 months.
6 months from now. But just the beta is freaking useful and awesome.
It's an awesome tool. I love it. You know, I've been playing around with it for the last couple of days ever since, you know, they told us about it. And, you know, I'm liking it more and more, even more so after our discussion, because it's broadened the horizons of how I would attempt to use this. So I think with that being said, that might be a good place to start to end this.
what's your overall how useful do you guys think it is? And if it isn't useful at all, let us know. If you think it's a hell of a great tool, let us know that as well. Brandon wrote, I love it as a first step and hope the hype around this helps generate more things like it. That's true. That's a great point. Since we got this, what's the next generator you think we should put on the website?
Character,
Don't they have
character,
one? They have a
like
character.
a more in-depth one or something. I know a lot of people are clamoring for like something akin to like the D&D Beyond thing. We can like drag and drop things, or like whatever the module on Foundry. We can like kind of paste together a character in one place. I don't know.
Do they have a Cypher generator?
They do, but it's old and it's not. I don't think that's been touched in quite a while. I mean, I still have it on as one of my favorites. It's
That's what
what is
they
it
can.
called? The Numenera character generator is the one that was theirs. And
Oh, I'm sorry, Dean.
I was just saying that, I'm kind of with Al. I think it would be kind of cool if, you could write your sentence and, it populate, or you could,
I thought there was a really cool character generator that just came out recently. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw it.
there's somebody out there who's made something of their own, but I don't think it's an official MCG. It's not an official MCG product.
That's before we sign out. That's one thing we forgot. You know what this filter needs? It needs a cipher and treasure category. Like it
What ciphers? Yeah, what ciphers?
It
That would be great.
pulls you a creature and it gives it treasure if they kill the creature or interact with the creature. Like maybe a cipher
or even
depending on the level.
Yeah, because some creatures give ciphers up when they die, but you can also like if you needed to have them in their lair or something from people that they've already consumed, or I think that is a great idea too, Ant.
And Jack put they need the ruin generator for Jay Colossus. That would be awesome too.
Oh, the ruin generator. Ah, nice.
I'll take a room generator. I don't even need a ruin. The whole ruins. Like if of the lazy man version, if you're running the ruins, you just do you pick environment ruin and then just run it in 4 or 5.
And that works too. I mean, like I said, overall, I think it's I think MCG just has a different approach when it comes to moving into the digital space, because you see what we got when we got the Darkest House. That was a real different thing, and now I see other companies trying to do variations on it with their new digital, adventures and stuff. But the Darkest House kind of set a standard. So I'd like to see all this stuff kind of be connected.
I know people disagree with me. I mean, not this community, but people in general. I would just flat out say, when it comes to RPG design, MCGs are innovators. They never followers. Just
Right.
Invisible Sun, Darkest House. Like they go left when everyone else is going right, and then they force other people to go left.
Yeah. I mean, literally, if you look at Who the Devil Are You, it's really crazy because it works. I mean, the same principle, like you're saying, it's a variation on the rules that already exist for stealing stories, but it works, and it's really cool.
Yeah, especially Monte Cook in particular. Pretty much whatever he's working on, it's always something that's new, it's fresh. And then other designers turn around and like emulate what he did a year ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like they said, to be in the mind of Monty, that's what Bruce and them always say. Monty always takes them on a ride when they go on their retreats. It's always like some new experience. So thanks, Monte Cook Games, and thanks, Monte Cook yourself, for always doing something new.
I saw on Twitter today somebody had posted like this old Sly Flourish tweet where Sly Flourish he's an awesome game mind. He's a master of his craft as well. He posted he added D&D and was saying, hey, it'll be a lot more interesting if you had magic items that was one-time use, it'll really add to the narrative. And Monte Cook replied on a tweet, maybe someone could even design a whole game around that concept.
Exactly. Which, you know, and I find it funny because how many people can't wrap their brain around ciphers. You know, it's so hard.
Yeah, but that was hilarious. Yeah, that's a beast. So that's a baller move.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great advice, but go play Numenera because that's the whole concept of the game.
Whole concept, yeah. You know, discovery and, you know, use these items. Use them frequently so you can get more.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, the Cypher System Creature Index, I personally think it's a phenomenal tool. And I'm only excited, like we said, it's a beta. I'm only excited to see how further along, this program is going to go. I think it's going to help you with campaigns. I think it helps you with improv. We proved that you can improv a session with just this. And, I also think it's going to be a tool for new people getting into Monte Cook Games or into the Cypher system. You could just mess with this and find out what kind of books interest you and just purchase specific books to your interest. And this will help you do that, especially the genre books, because not everyone likes every genre. So if you're into supers and you're into horror, see what the creatures in those books have and see if it's something that might interest you, or if not, you don't need them at all, and you can just rock with the Cypher System core book. But if they look interesting to you, maybe go ahead and either purchase the PDF or the physical book.
And the final thing I'll say on this subject is I think it's also a great tool to help people learn improvisation. If you create a monster and then start working on, when you get a monster list, then you start building a counter around the monster like we did. It'll help you because it'll give you pieces to plug in. So I think that's a great thing.
Before I sign up, solo RPG guy say challenge me to solo the scenario, and I'm gonna challenge you only if we do it on your channel and you walk me through the process, buddy. I'll absolutely do it. We'll do it on your channel, and you can walk me through the process.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that one. We're still waiting on that one, solo RPG guy. We're still waiting on us being walked through the process. Even though Al's already doing it without us, he's been doing it with Mark Borg.
Following for like a couple months now, right?
Yeah, he's been saying, he keeps throwing challenges out there for you to do it too. So, but I'd like to learn how to do this thing. Depending on what engine we use or whatever. Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Oh, the Mark Borg. Woo-hoo!
Kathleen Noir is here from the Mark Borg server, Al.
Oh, sorry. I realized I could have just said it out loud. I was saying it in the text chat. Yeah, I'm Ancient Albatross from I'm the interloper on that server. Hello. Yeah.
So any final thoughts before we close this out?
I basically gave mine. It's a great resource. It's useful. It's it's adaptable to various things, and I'm definitely gonna have fun with it. And I can't wait to see it grow.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm literally gonna hop off here and use it to play Gods of the Fall. Quite literally, I'm gonna use it right now. Yes, it's gonna be great, and especially when they expand it with all the other books and whatnot. And then fingers crossed if they tied the CSRD to it. This is gonna be a fantastic resource.
Yeah, chat all seems to agree with you. They all think it's a useful resource, and they all have different reasons why they like it. So we're definitely going to continue this conversation on the Cypher Unlimited Discord. If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook Games. We're getting close to 6,000 members now, y'all. It's a great place to chat about MCG games, post-MCG games, post-Cypher System games, play games, or just generally hang out with an awesome community of great people. Could you please, please, please give us a little follow here on Twitch, or maybe finding the kindness of your heart and give us a little sub is greatly appreciated. Or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe there. We finally broke 1,000 subs over there, and we're trying to grow that channel as much as we possibly can. Our videos are always free, but you can help us out if you want to give us a donation in some way. Just give us a little donation on Ko-fi. It helps us out with little things like Zoom costs. Or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch, like that shirt Dean got on or the hat I got on. And last but not least, the most important thing, we love you guys.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for stopping by, chatting with us, helping us set up that little scene. Anthony, you got to go solo play it. Hopefully Donald will facilitate it on his channel. That would be a nice little thing to do. But either way, thank you again, everyone.
It's for solo play.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone. We'll see you on the Discord, and from us at the CU, we will see you later.